Part 2, study guide. We are at number 3, part G. I want you to isolate the exponents. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to do e to the 4x minus 1 is equal to 15. Just because the base is e, I need you to ln both sides. If you ln this side and ln this side, you will get 4x minus 1 equal ln 15. Now we're going to go ahead and add 1 to both sides, and you will get ln 15 plus 1. Dividing by 4, go to the calculator, do it all at once, and then you will find out that x is equal to 0.927. Next, we're going to take a look at part H. Okay, part H. Part H, we have 1 minus 2 times e to the 2x equal negative 19. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. And when we subtract 1 from both sides, we're going to get negative 2e to the 2x is equal to negative 20. Dividing by negative 2, we're going to get e to the 2x is equal to 10. Now we're going to go ahead and ln both sides. ln e to the 2x is equal to ln 10. Take the 2x and toss it in the front. You'll get 2x ln e, which is 1, equal to 10. Dividing by 2, and go to your calculator and round to 4 decimal places. X is equal 1.1513. Continuing with part I. Part I is e raised to the negative 3x plus 7 equal to 15. So here what we're going to do, we're going to subtract 7 from both sides, and we're going to have e to the negative 3x is equal to 8. ln both sides, that will give us negative 3x ln e is equal to ln 8. Again, ln e is 1, so we don't even need to write it. So to solve for x is going to equal ln 8 divided by negative 3. Rounded to 4 decimal places, you're going to have negative 0.6931. Part P. Part P, we have 1 log, 1 side. All what you need to do now is snail. 8 raised to the 2/3 power is equal to x minus 5. Now I need you to be able to do this without the calculator. 8 is 2 to the 3rd. 2 to the 3rd raised to the 2/3 is going to give you 2 squared. And 2 squared, as you can see, it's going to give us a 4. 4 equal x minus 5, which gives us x equal to 9. When we're solving a log function, we always want to check your solution and make sure it works. Make sure the log gives us a quantity that remains positive. If it doesn't, we just have to throw it away. Part Q. Part Q, just because we have a log base 2 here and a log base 2 here, we can make the values equal to each other. That means x squared minus 6, it should equal to 2x plus 2. Since it's a quadratic, I need everything on one side equal to 0. So we subtract 2x and we subtract 2 and make it equal to 0. We're going to try to factor it. The product of negative 8, the sum of negative 2 is x minus 4x plus 2. As you can see, we have 2 possible solutions. But since we're dealing with a log function, we just have to check our solution. The 4 seems to work because 4 squared plus minus 6 is positive. 2 times 4 plus 2 is positive. This one looks pretty good. We're going to keep it. This one we're going to have to throw it away because when you substitute it over here, it gives you negative 4 plus 2, which the quantity is negative, and that would not work. We have to throw it away. Part R. R, we have to condense. We have to combine those two. Before we can combine them, the 3 has to go away. That means we have to make the 3 as an exponent. So I ended up with log base 2 of x minus log base 2 of 5 to the 3rd power. When we combine those logs now, because the coefficients are both equal to 1, it's going to give us log base 2 of x divided by 5 to the 3rd, which is 125. Here we're going to take the 2 and make it an exponent and bring it down here, which gives us log of 10 squared, which is 100. Now, if we have two logs that equal to each other, the same bases, that means their values should equal to each other. If the values are equal to each other, we can set x over 125 equal to 100. And if we cross multiply or multiply both sides by 125, we get x is equal 12,500. Part S. Again, part S, in order to combine those two, we need to take care of the coefficient first. You cannot combine unless you get rid of the coefficient first. Those coefficient has to become exponents. This becomes log base 2 of x to the third. This will become log base 2 of the quantity 5x squared. Continue working here because we're subtracting two logs. We're going to make them a single log by dividing the quantity x cubed divided by 25x squared. And that's going to equal to 2. We can reduce the quantities here. Before we continue, we can make it simplified, so that will give us x over 25 equal to 2. Since we have one log on one side, I need you to snail. Snailing 2 to the second power equal x over 25. So x over 25 equal 2 to the second power, which is a 4. Multiply both sides by 25, x is equal to 100. Make sure you check your solution and make sure it works. Part T. Part T, since these two logs have a coefficient of 1, I am going to go ahead and combine them into a single log, log base 16 of the quantity 9x plus 5 divided by x squared minus 1. And since we have one log on one side, we don't have a log on the other side, I need you to snail. 16 raised to the 1/2 is equal to this quantity. So that means 9x plus 5 over x squared minus 1 is equal 16 to the 1/2, which is square root of 16, gives you a 4. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put the 4 over 1, we're going to cross multiply. To cross multiply, you're going to have 9x plus 5 is equal to 4x squared minus 4. Quadratic, we're going to get everything on one side, we're going to make it equal to 0 and try to factor it. If it factors, will be great. If not, we're just going to have to figure out what to do. And so now what's the product of negative 36, the sum of negative 9? I believe this is going to give us x minus 12 and x plus 3. Now, because we have a leading coefficient of 4, I need you to come back and divide by 4 here, divide by 4 here. And so this factor will be x minus 3. This one, leave it as x plus 3/4. Because if your goal is to solve for x, your x here will equal to 3. Here, x is equal to negative 3/4. Now we're going to check our solution. If you check the 3, it's going to work. If you check negative 3/4, it's not going to work. We're just going to have to throw it away, and we have one solution. Part Q. I want you to look and see those two logs have a coefficient of 1. That means we can straight combine them. That will give us log base 5, the quantity x plus 3, divided by 2x minus 1 is equal to 2. One log on one side, we can go ahead and snail. That means x plus 3 over 2x minus 1 is equal to 5 to the second power, or 25. What we're going to do, we're going to put 25 over 1 and cross multiply. X plus 3 is equal to 2 times 25 is 50x, and negative 1 times 25 is 25. We're going to subtract x from both sides, and we're going to add 25 to both sides. And so now what do we end up with? These x's cancels out, we get 28 equal to 49x. And then x is equal 28 divided by 49. I really would like you to go ahead and check your answer to make sure your answer works, because we started out with a log function. And on the log function, part V, I need you to look at those two logs. Since the coefficient is 1, we're going to combine them. This is going to be the log, or ln, x times 2x is equal to 2. Or ln 2x squared equal to 2. Now I need you to snail, because you have one log on one side. The base is e. e raised to the second power is equal to 2x squared. So 2x squared is equal e raised to the second power. Divide by 2, and then I need you to go to your calculator and take the square root of e squared divided by 2, and x here cannot equal plus or minus because the minus will not work for us, and so it's only simply is going to be 1.9221. W, you have already one log on one side. Can you take the base e in snail? And so that will give us x minus 2 equal e to the second power, and x is equal e to the second plus 2. That means x is going to equal to 9.3890. Done. BB, I want you to subtract x squared 6, 7 to the x from both sides. And I also want you to factor out 7 to the x here, and you will get x squared minus x minus 6 equal to 0. Now 7 to the x cannot equal to 0. There is nothing you can raise to the x power and still get a 0. There's no value for x you can raise 7 to and equal to 0. Here we're going to try to factor, and it'll factor into x minus 3, x plus 2. And so that means because it's an exponential function, we can have both solutions and both of them would work. We don't even have to check our answers. CC, it's a quadratic form. I want you to know that this is e to the x squared. This is 5 times e to the x. And this is a 4. We can treat it as though it's a quadratic, and when we factor it, it will be e to the x, and then e to the x instead of an x. What's the product of 4, the sum of -1? It's going to be -4 and -1. What we have here, e to the x equal to 4, we have to solve for x, and e to the x equal to 1, we do have to solve for x. When we try to solve for x, we're going to ln both sides. So this will be x ln e equal to ln 4. But again, ln e is 1, so x equal ln 4. And in this side right here, x ln e equal to ln 1, but ln 1 is 0. So now we're going to go to the calculator and calculate this value, x equal 1.3863. We have two solutions. We don't need to check our answers. This is an exponential function. I want you to put 3 over 1, and I need you to cross multiply. That will give us 3 times the quantity 2 plus e to the negative x is equal to 7. Distributing the 3 will be 6 plus 3e to the negative x is equal to 7. Isolating the exponents, 3e to the negative x subtracting 6 will give you a 1. And then dividing by 3e to the negative x is equal to 1/3. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to solve for x. To solve for x, I am going to ln both sides. So negative x ln e is equal to ln of 1/3. ln e is 1, so x is equal negative ln 1 over 3. And if you calculate it to 4 decimal places, this is going to give us 1.0986. Okay, number 4. What I want you to do, I want you to be very careful how to use the calculator here so you don't make careless mistake. It's pretty easy. It's 2/3 raised to the 1.5 minus 1. And I did calculate it earlier, and to round it to 4 decimal places is 0.816. This one is what's 2/3 raised to the square root of 5 minus 1, and I got 0.6058. Next, we're going to do the 4 pi, what's 2/3 raised to the 4 pi minus 1, and my answer was 0.0092. And then finally is this one is going to be 2/3 raised to the negative 1 over 5 minus 1, and so that will be 1.6267, and this is number 4. Pretty easy, straightforward.